Never has getting your education been more important than it is today. Making the decision to continue your education can be one of the most vital decisions that you will make in your lifetime. Choosing a college or university can be a very daunting decision, as well as the decision to choose a traditional classroom environment or an online learning environment. With the advances in technology, more and more students are finding that obtaining a degree online is very convenient, but is online learning as good as classroom learning? Classroom or paper learning is definitely the traditional method of pursuing your degree, but the added convenience of sitting at home while learning has made online education very popular. There are pros and cons to both online learning and classroom learning, and depending on the need of the student, one option may be clearly better than the other. In classroom learning, students have direct access to their professor as well as their peers, and the personal contact with other students can be very important to your education and to obtaining a better understanding of the material. The classroom setting allows for open discussions and sharing ideas and information. The downside of a classroom situation is if you're unable to make class, you miss out on important information. And the class schedule can be hard to keep for those involved in sports or people that have jobs, parents, and grandparents. In online learning, a big advantage is just being able to sit at home in front of your computer and do your coursework at times that work around your schedule. Your life does not have to interfere in your education. There's no driving. Your research and internet skills improve greatly through the online learning process. And students who may be shy and not actively participate in conversations in the classroom may find the online setting more comfortable for getting involved and sharing their ideas. Now, the downside to online learning is the direct contact that you have with professors and classmates. There are emails and there are discussion forums for you to have contact with your professors and students, to have those discussions and to ask those important questions. But self-discipline is extremely necessary for you to be successful in this setting. Now, I myself have been a classroom student as well as an online student. I find both to be effective. I prefer the online setting at this time and point in my life because I am a mother and I have 3 children. Many people out there today are deciding to go back to school and get their education. Many of those people that have made this decision are active members of the workforce who work 12-hour days, 8-hour days, whatever their career may be. It is hard for them to find the time to drive to a university, especially if there's not one in their location, to actually get their degree. So the online learning environment is extremely convenient for a whole demographic of people that otherwise may not have been able to get their education. There's always many pros and cons, no matter what decision you make, and every student will make a different choice based on their individual needs. Students on both sides of the educational spectrum can fail as well as succeed. I believe that online education is not only just as good as traditional classroom education, but it is essential for a large amount of people to be able to gain or obtain their degree. Online education may not be your personal choice, but in my opinion, it is absolutely just as good as classroom learning. Now, questions have been posed about online learning in the assumption that it is not as good as a traditional classroom setting. There was an article written in the New York Times written by Adam D. Chandler, who both attended classes online and in a classroom. He stated that the online setting he felt alone and unsupported, and this caused his loss of motivation and a loss of interest in the subject that he was studying. He stated that attending class inspires accountability and academic responsibility, and he believes 80% of education is showing up in person. Now, many people will agree with these statements, but there is also a large amount of people that would absolutely disagree with these statements, and I am one of them. So one of the critiques posed and the questions posed by people who oppose online learning are that being present in a classroom holds you accountable. No one but yourself can actually make you attend class, and the same is true for online learning. No one can make you log on to your computer for class. A student's success is completely dependent upon their own choices and actions, by their own drive and willpower, not by a classroom or an online forum. Now, can changing technology make access to learning environments more difficult? Absolutely not. The rapidly changing and evolving technology is an advantage to students in an online learning environment. iPads, iPhones, smartphones, any type of electronic device, and a general internet connection can gain you access to a large online learning environment, and all of these can be easily accessed by students. Can students participate more in a traditional classroom? The British Journal of Educational Technology performed a study of students in both environments and concluded that being an online student actually may require more participation than in a classroom. Shy students in a classroom setting are less likely to speak up and become involved in an active conversation, while in an online setting, a computer screen is the only obstacle in their way. In closing, nobody but yourself can make you actively participate, no matter the setting. So for students who want the experience of actually being on a university and experience meeting new students, that choice is clearly a good one for them. But for those of us who have full-time jobs, who are full-time parents, online learning is clearly a better choice, and it is just as good as learning in the classroom. Thank you.